we sometimes hear that fractional work or the model, that Fraction specifically provides is expensive. The question is, why not just go with offshore talent? So essentially the objection is that offshore is cheaper for the price of hiring a fractional person in the US, which is where Fraction specializes. Well, we could hire a full-time person somewhere offshore, maybe even somewhere near shore, so we don't have the time zone issue. And hey, that's more competitive. Why wouldn't I just do that? Well, to that I say, why is any of your business in the United States? Why do you have anybody here? And what we find is that the tacit knowledge that the company gets by having their resources close to customers in terms of being in the same country and experiencing many of the same issues, having that understanding of like what a product would be. Give you some concrete examples in healthcare, in finance, honestly, even in the way commerce is transacted in the US, so even in retail, having the personal experience of how these things work, it leads to much better results because you don't have to explain the obvious. I mean, just to take an obvious example, of course you'd know that in healthcare having co-pays and the concept of insurance, and how that works in the United States is different from virtually every other country on earth. And then financial systems tend to vary across countries. So those are different. What about e-commerce? Like e-commerce is the same everywhere, right? Well, actually, only the US uses 5-digit, not alphanumeric, but only numeric zip codes, and for that matter calls them zip codes. So you have all of these little bits of nuance in every country on earth. And so our belief with that is that, yeah, offshore is cheaper, but there is an aspect of getting what you pay for. And that not just the tacit knowledge that folks bring to the table, whenever you're working with domestic fractional talent, but also the fact that they oftentimes are bringing specific industry experience to the table that, may be specific to your clients or to your needs, that is providing value. It's not just about knowing React. Yeah, if you just need somebody that knows React, you could go offshore and you could get that. But if you need somebody that knows React or knows your tech stack, but also is bringing knowledge to the table that is helpful and is bringing tacit knowledge, so industry knowledge on the one hand, but also tacit knowledge of how things work in the United States, big things and little things, we find that reduces friction. And frankly, it's the same reason that, as a company in the United States, that you're working with other US employees, that Fractional plugs in the exact same way. Fractional work. And so if all you want is the lowest priced product, then yeah, offshore is going to be cheaper for the foreseeable future. One other point I make here that from a competitive perspective, though, is that AI plus fractional work, that this is cost competitive even whenever you start talking about relatively cheap offshore options. So something else to consider is that as AI comes in more and more and we're directing that work, that this is an option that we're pushing hard on and that we're starting to see more cost effectiveness as a result.